I had to talk about this today. It's time to get serious. It's time for Miz to talk. Let go of the heart. Stop letting the heart think for the brain, man. I'm going to keep it as real as I can right here. We're going into year 6 of Daniel Jones. You've heard me say this before. We don't know who the guy is. How many years are we willing to throw away of our lives as Giant fans? Now, let me tell you something. You don't get these years back as you get older. So we lost about 8 or 9 years of football here. Well, 5 years of Daniel Jones going into year 6. And I'm going to be as real as you could be. I was a Jones supporter. It's over. Because I'm a Giant fan first. And the losing has taken a fucking toll on the Miz. Yo, all seriousness, Daniel Jones has been the quarterback for 5 years. He's missed so many football games. You can't rely on the guy to give you a full season. I don't want to hear about the O-line. There's plenty of O-lines in this league that are inept. And the young quarterbacks come in and win games for them. At least they're functionable. At some point they win. You're going to tell me last year, the 1 year Jones played the whole year, the Giants made the playoffs. The Giants were 9-8, right? No, they had a tie, right? They had a tie last year, right? I predicted that tie, by the way. Yo, they had a tie, right? So, what are they? 8-1 with a wild card win in Minnesota. Not going to take that away. Regardless of what people say, the Vikings defense, I don't care. The Vikings won 13 games. That's a beautiful playoff win. Yo, let's be fucking honest. The entire season was won. We had to do every single thing in our mother's right just to get by the games to win. Now, we did win. We were the most disciplined team with the least amount of penalties and the least amount of turnovers. Those games were won by coaching. I would say Dable was more the quarterback than Daniel Jones. He simplified the offense with the RPO so much so that Jones wouldn't have to step back and make the deep throws and that we wouldn't make turnovers. Yes, part of that was the O-line wasn't good. Dude, the O-line hasn't been good in a decade. But we've drafted so many players, I gotta believe that the offensive line coaches have not been functionable. Maybe that changes next year, but something else better change also. 5 years with Daniel Jones, and you love him or not, and you're a Jones supporter big time, and so was I. And if he starts week 1, which he probably will, I'll still back him up and root for him. Because I bleed blue at the heart deep, and I'm a Giant fan no matter who's on the damn team. But I'll tell you what, the 5 years Daniel Jones has been here has been the darkest 5 years in Giants history. And anybody watching it can tell you it's a fact. I don't give a shit if you live on the guy's ass. And he's never reliable. He's not healthy. He still locks on to one receiver. And he doesn't throw the ball in time. He holds the ball too long. Anybody who watches football understands the game, even a slight bit sees that. Dude, Barkley's been our entire offense for years. And it might be time we're moving on from him. And if they did so, you kind of got to move on. Fine. It's time to draft a quarterback. I said this before. Don't be standing at the subway station when the train pulls away. We will be all alone in a dark place. 5, 6 wins a year hasn't changed. Nothing's changed. And like I said, the 1 year we had a decent year, we had to put everything in the planet together. Okay, the moon had to align with the sun and the stars, and it was all Dable, man. I'm sorry, it was. It was all schemed up to do just enough to win games. Barely. Hey, you won. It was a fun season. You take it when it's the only fun season we've had in a fucking decade. Yo, let's be real, brothers. This is a quarterback draft. We're picking 6. We're not going to be back here again. We better not be back here again. We better not. It's garbage. And the face of the garbage is Daniel Jones. That's right. And you all know I was a big Jones fan, and I fought a lot of you for him. But yo, I'm sorry. I gotta come out of my box, and I gotta keep it real. This is a quarterback draft, and we're drafting in a prime position to get one. Now, I don't want just anyone. But if I have to take J.J. McCarthy at 6, I do so. But yo, fuck that. We got the assets. We traded Leo to get the extra pick. And we got some money this offseason. But you know what? Time to get a new young franchise quarterback. And these guys are going to do that. They have to. Because if you don't get the quarterback and you live with Daniel Jones, next year, if the Giants are a loser, and if I go by the 5 or 6 years, we're going to win 6 or 7 games. And you're not going to be able to sell anybody about the following year. You're not. Because you didn't take the quarterback when you had them at your hand. So go up right here. And I'm not saying you got to go to 1. But if you have to climb up a spot or 2 to get one of those quarterbacks, whether it's Daniels or Drake May, or if you got to take J.J. McCarthy at 6, where you really don't want to take him at 6, and maybe you reach the drop, but we're in desperate need of a quarterback. This is the talented quarterback class. It's not coming around for a while, and we can't be back here. And if these 2 guys, Shane and Dable, don't pick a quarterback, they don't get to reset the clock. And next year, there's no excuses. You're fucking ass out, both of you. And it's looking like there's a major player in play now. Whether you think or not, I don't give a fuck if he's 80 years old. Belichick doesn't get a job this year, you could lock it. A Miz is giving you a Miz lock right now that if Belichick don't get a job here and he sits for a year and the Giants don't get a young quarterback and have a better season next year, this regime's gone. And John Mara is calling Belichick in, and it wouldn't take much. All he has to do is the phone has to ring. And when Belichick sees the ID, John Mara, and they still have a connection, they still got a very good relationship. Belichick's coming back to finish his career. His dream come true. The place he started, a place he's always been in love with. Everyone knows he has strong part of his heart belongs to the Giants franchise. He's still close with ownership. And he would come here and finish his career, and I'd hand him a blank check for 5 years and hand him the damn keys. So, yo, Dable and Joe Shane, be warned. This is your big year. And if you need more time than 1 year, I understand that. And I'm giving it to you. You better go get your young quarterback. Because if you roll 100% with Daniel Jones next year, it's all on you. And I'm going to tell you right now, Daniel Jones, he's a good guy. He's a class act. He works hard. I love that about him. If you don't have a roster like the 49ers or the Baltimore Ravens with a big O-line, a tight end, receivers on the outside, guys that can make things happen big time for him, he's not carrying an average team. He needs a loaded roster to be a guy that's taking you far. And we're nowhere near that. 2024 draft, the New York Football Giants better fucking grab a quarterback. Because Shane, Dable, if you don't, and it's a mess next year, and I'm willing to bet it will be, because I don't think Daniel Jones is the guy anymore. The Miz said it. If Jones is here, he'll root for him. The person, I love him. He's a good guy. Good guys don't win you shit in this league. I'm tired of being the good guy that drafts the good, fancy bow-tie players. Enough. Get back to football. This is the biggest draft in off-season for Joe Shane and Dable. You better go get one of these QBs, and I don't care if you got to trade pieces to go up and get it. You better get your quarterback and reset. Because in 2 weeks from now, when Belichick is still out there and he decides he's going to take the year off, I got news for you. The seat under Dable and Shane are going to get so fucking hot. The blaze is going to burn their ass cheeks next year. Because you got Bill Belichick, the GOAT, waiting. And don't think for a second he's not on deck for the New York Giants if he doesn't get a job this year, namely with Atlanta. And if I was him, I wouldn't take Atlanta. That's a garbage organization, and you don't belong there. You're royalty. You belong and deserve better. And if they really wanted to treat you the way you deserve, the blank check would have been on the table 10 days ago. Tell them, screw you. I'm going to wait a year and see what's out there next year, knowing the hot seat is boiling in New York for the New York Football Giants, an organization that has had connections with Belichick his entire career. I had enough of 6-win seasons and waiting for Jones to grow. You're never going to have the perfect O-line, and we wasted Barkley's career. Joe Schoen, you better draft your quarterback this draft. You better draft one of the quarterbacks that you have on your board. And you better get it right. Miz.